So I'm still, I'm still struggling with this idea of camp shoes. I've never worn them. I've never taken them. I don't really want to take them, but I've never had wet feet for weeks on end, or at least 2 or 3 or 4 days. Usually, I walk into camp with dry feet. So where do you go from that? Well, so I talked about taking Tevas. Tevas are, they're really comfortable shoes. They can just slip on pretty easily, but it's not a given. And pretty much all the shoes I've been looking at weigh like a pound, 13 ounces, 16 ounces. If it were just 2 or 3 or 4 ounces, it'd be different, but it's not. It's like a pound. And I don't want to carry an extra pound if I don't have to. So a good way to think about that is just the old conventional way. When you get into camp, you put on dry socks and you put bread bags. So you get rid of the bread and you put the bags on your feet. The thought on that is that your shoes are soaking wet. You don't want to have that last as long until you go to bed. So you put dry socks on, put bread bags over your feet so that your wet shoes don't get your dry socks wet too. If there was an easy way to do that, I'm always just open to new thoughts. But basically, you're trying to get your feet dry as soon as possible when you get into camp. Part 2 of camp shoes is being able to cross water, being able to cross streams, and how well you do that. So my basic views are on long distance hiking, your feet are so important to keep those from being injured. There are so many shoes that are light, but there's like zero protection when you're crossing waters from rocks, sticks, anything sharp. You've got to protect your feet. It just kind of goes the most important part of your body on long hikes is the bottom of your feet. Then it goes your ankles, then it goes your knees, then it goes your hips, then your back. Your arms are basically useless. It's called the T-Rex syndrome. You've got these huge thighs and these little useless arms. I do use my trekking poles, so there is some use for my arms. But basically, arms are useless. So I don't really care about my shoulders, my elbows, my wrists, my hands, my neck. My feet are the important part. So if you're going to cross a stream, it's very important to protect your feet. So one of the things I would like for the camp shoes would be light, light and protective. I'm getting to where I think it can't be done, and I'm just going to take a couple bread bags and I'll call that it. But we'll go through it. So light. So the Tevas are about 13 ounces. And they're comfortable. One of the things that I consider camp shoes to also do is pull with any kind of backpacking, double duty. So yes, they're camp shoes, but yes, I can also hike in them. I remember when we were on the John Muir Trail, we came across a lady we were right in the middle. So she had horrible blisters, but she didn't have any other backup shoes. So her choices were to basically hike 30 miles and go over a huge pass to get down to a parking lot to where they could get out. So if you would have had a backup pair of shoes, not all shoes are going to rub you somewhere, but they rub you in a different place than what your trekking shoes rubbed you or what your whatever kind of boots you had. So being able to have backup shoes to hike out with. Not many people blow their shoe out to where the sole of their shoe comes off. It does happen, but it's not too common. There's some people have duct tape. They can duct tape around their shoe to just get them back to some kind of store. But having a backup pair of shoes that you can hike with. So shoes, it would be nice if camp shoes were light. So like shower thongs, real light. But you can't hike in them. They do make, nicer thongs, flip-flops, but you can't really hike in them. And when you're crossing streams or just fast-moving water in flip-flops, they're going to come off your foot. I picture there's this place where there's a very well-crossed, fast-moving river, and about one half of the people who cross it with flip-flops don't get to the other side with both flip-flops. And that downstream, like a mile downstream, there's this little eddy pool where there are 20 flip-flops waiting to be found. So that's not kind of leave no trace. You really, it's so hard to cross streams with something that's not really hooked onto your foot real well. These will work. I can crank them down, but these are about 13 ounces. But I guarantee they won't be on my other on my feet, or at least one won't, if I get to the other side of a fast creek. My just old trail shoes, oboes, they'll get to the other side of a creek, but they weigh like 18 ounces. So, and the standard I bought, Crocs, the darling of all trails, Crocs. You can see how much I'm committed to them by I've not taken off the little thing yet. These are different Crocs in that I saw them and they've got like a Velcro back, so you can crank this down. They're about a pound, about 15 ounces. They are pretty light. They don't absorb water. They would stay on your feet. You could actually hike in them, but one of the downsides is that their weight and they're bulky. And as I said in my last video, I've tried Zero shoes. Zero shoes are a very minimalist, basically sandal. Yes, it would stay on your feet crossing streams. No, there's not much protection from rocks, sticks, that kind of thing. They're not great backup shoes to hike in. They're light, they're compact. I like that part. But when you wear those kind of minimalist shoes, you're really you gotta be so careful on the trail to walk with them. I can remember my friend was wearing Zero trail shoes when we were doing the CDT on the Gila River, and every hour I would hear of pain because he would like kick a rock with those shoes on. Or on trails, they when the trail maintainers come through, there might be like a inch tall little tree stump that they didn't go all the way down to the ground. They left about 2 inches, and when you kick those in a pair of like even these, it's incredibly painful. So yes, these would work good because there's some protection for your toes. So I don't know that there's any perfect trail shoe or camp shoe that would double for both. Sometimes when I would cross the stream, what I can do is take off my socks, pull out my orthotics, put my trail shoes back on, and cross the stream there. At least my socks are dry and my orthotics are dry. Then I'll go walk for say a 1/2 mile with my wet trail shoes. By then I've kind of pushed out most of the water. Stop, put my socks back on, put my orthotics back in, and then keep on going. Obviously, if there's a creek every 4 miles or 3 miles, that's going to get really tough and slow fast. So I don't know. I'm just kind of putting this video out to share my thoughts on the frustrations of camp shoes. Again, I don't think it's really necessary on the Arizona Trail or the PCT, maybe the CDT in some parts, but on the Appalachian Trail, sky's the limit for wet feet. So what am I going to do? I don't know. I don't know. Gonna try something probably. But these are great, but they're too heavy. These are lighter, but they will come off my feet if I'm crossing any kind of water that's got some speed to it. I know these are great, but they're so bulky. And the Zeros I've already tried out. I'm not going to wear thongs or shower slippers or that kind of thing. If you have any ideas, I'll probably end up with bread wrappers on both feet after I get to camp. Put on dry shoes, put my wet Ultras back on, and call that it. If you have any other ideas, I'm open to suggestions. Thanks a lot, and bye-bye.